Eyewitness News at 6 is next. Tonight, as 4 members of a Manhattan family are remembered, the city promises to implement new tough fire standards at some state-funded buildings. Plus, the man who tried to kill President Reagan may be allowed to travel across the country on his own.
Also tonight in Philadelphia, neighbors describe the man now charged with bondage, torture, and killing women in his basement dungeon. Plus, it was a chance of a lifetime. 6 people sat down to play a game, and the winner got a $300,000 home. We'll have these stories and much more on Eyewitness News at 6. That's next. Join us.
Announcing 3 reasons to see your Ford dealer now. Reason number 1, money. Save over $700 on specially equipped Ford Taurus. Number 2, more money. Save over $700 on specially equipped Ford Escort. Number 3, even more money. Save over $900 on a specially equipped Ford Tempo. Get 3.9% financing plus $600 cash back on Tempo and Escort. Or choose financing or $400 cash back on Taurus. Hurry to your Ford dealer for money, and more money.
A Delco Bose music system will make your favorite song sound even better. Every note rings true because the system is acoustically tuned to select GM models. Delco Bose delivers 100 watts of power, more than enough to dazzle your ears. And when that much power plays through premium Bose speakers, it's easy to get carried away. The Delco Bose music system. You'll love it too much to leave it.
Since the Isuzu iMark is a family car, I brought my family to tell you about it.
It's so roomy. I use it to deliver pianos in my spare time.
It looks neat, so it's great for picking up chicks. It's front-wheel drive, and it comes with 42 standard features, including aluminum alloy wheels and a poly.
My family, my iMark.
For a great value, see the iMark and other exciting Isuzu vehicles at your neighborhood Isuzu dealer today.
Joel's Oscar Special tonight at 7 here on Channel 7.
You're watching Channel 7 Eyewitness News with John Marler and Rolanda Watts. Scott Clark has sports, Dr. Bill Dutch with weather, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good evening. Tonight there is hope that some good may come out of the tragedy of last weekend's high-rise fire that killed 7 people. Tappy Phillips reports tonight, as 4 of the victims were buried, the city made plans to make sure that similar buildings can meet tough city fire standards.
It was an hour of intense grief for Robert Jenkins and his son today. There in the 4 identical gray coffins in the front of the Metropolitan Baptist Church were Margaret Jenkins, Robert's wife, and 3 of their children, Stanley, Robin, and Dwana. The 4 died in the fire last Sunday at Schaumburg Plaza. 3 of them jumped to their deaths, their clothes burning as they fell. This building is funded by the Urban Development Corporation and therefore has to meet state building codes, not city codes, which are stricter. This has concerned the city building commissioner, who says that next week he will start sending out inspectors to visit buildings like this to make sure they do meet city codes.
And if there are those who were negligent in causing this to occur, we will pursue them and we will find them.
The fire Sunday had started in the trash compactor chute, which had sprinklers every other floor. On Sunday, those sprinklers were turned off. Residents say they had complained about fires in the chutes before, and today the president of the Tenants Association called for a rent strike until the problem is corrected.
We are very concerned about the fact that in our community, this is not an isolated incident. That fires at Schaumburg Plaza have happened before, and fires in this community have happened before.
If criminal negligence is found, those culpable should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
All of that is too late for Margaret Jenkins and her 3 children, and it will not ease the pain for Robert Jenkins and his son, whose loss is permanent. In Harlem, Tappy Phillips, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
City and state officials are scheduled to meet tomorrow to determine just how many buildings will have to be inspected. Rolanda?
3 people were killed today when their car smashed into the back of a private sanitation truck. The driver, 22-year-old Vernon Lee, a female companion, 26-year-old Gail Scott, and his mother, Genevieve Robinson, all from Elmhurst, Queens, were killed instantly. The truck driver, John Tacopino of Flushing, Queens, escaped injury. The accident occurred about 5 o'clock this morning when the victims were returning home from Atlantic City. The disabled garbage truck was parked on a shoulder of the West Shore Expressway on Staten Island. Police say that Tacopino had turned the truck's hazard lights on, and he had even placed flares on the road. The victim's car apparently skidded, though, on the rain-slicked roadway just before slamming into the parked truck. And in Queens this morning, a multi-vehicle accident caused several injuries. 3 cars collided on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. This happened shortly after 4 o'clock this morning. Police from the 108 precinct responded to the scene, but their police car was then hit, and they had to call for assistance. A total of 7 cars in all were involved in the accident. We understand that it was also caused by the rain. The injured were taken to Elmhurst General Hospital in Queens for treatment. John.
A young stock boy was shot and killed last night in the Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn, a neighborhood that is no stranger to violence. Art McFarland was there as relatives absorbed the tragic news.
Relatives of Ricardo Chacon publicly expressed their grief today near the spot where the 22-year-old was fatally shot last night, as if they were unable to believe what happened to him.
He was a good kid. He never got in any trouble. He never took drugs nor nothing.
By all accounts, Ricardo was not prone toward street violence. He was an athletic young man, a track star while in high school. His family says he was a black belt karate expert. He was shot to death just outside the small grocery store where he worked as a stock boy. He was leaving work when the incident occurred. After the shooting, his boss came to Ricardo's aid.
I hear the shot, and I run outside. When they're going outside, too late.
You went outside to help him?
Sure.
Police say Ricardo was shot following an altercation over a bracelet that involved him, the gunman, and an unidentified man who was wounded in the shooting. The alleged gunman, identified as 17-year-old Joseph DeShields, is being held at Brooklyn's central booking headquarters. Meanwhile, residents of the Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood say the violence was simply the result of conditions in the area.
This is a crack neighborhood, and I think that the public should help the police department, stop this.
A lot of shootings?
A lot of shooting.
All these crackheads out here, they go inside the buildings, and once you come out your house, you're scared to come out because they might get you one day.
There's a lot of drugs around here, a lot of crack houses around here, and that's what it's related to.
And so in the end, it comes down to another senseless murder, another family left in grief, and another New York City neighborhood held hostage to violence. In Brooklyn, Art McFarland, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Investigators tonight tell us they are questioning the unidentified man who was wounded in the shooting as a possible suspect. The Secret Service vows to fight a planned unescorted Easter trip by John Hinckley Jr., the man who shot President Reagan back in 1981. The presidential assailant was found not guilty by reason of insanity. He has been confined to a mental hospital. He wants to spend Easter with his parents. A court hearing on his request has been scheduled for next month. Now, once last year, Hinckley left the hospital for 12 hours on an escorted visit with his parents. That trip, too, angered the Secret Service, which now plans to meet with the U.S. Attorney in an effort to block Hinckley's current plans.
The Marine Corps is currently struggling with what one official is calling the most damaging security breaches imaginable. A security guard is accused of repeatedly allowing Soviet agents to roam and poke around some of the most sensitive areas of the United States Embassy in Moscow last year. In a formal statement, the Marine Corps also accused Sergeant Clayton Lone-Tree of conspiring with Marine Corporal Arnold Bracey. Bracey is from Queens, by the way. It says that Bracey was paid $1,000 by Lone-Tree and stood guard while Lone-Tree escorted the Soviet agents through the embassy. The statement accuses Bracey of even switching off the alarm system. Lone-Tree has been slapped with more than 24 criminal charges, including one for espionage. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Bracey is being held on suspicion of spying. A crisis over the Aegean Sea oil rights eased today. That after Turkish Prime Minister Turgut Özal said his country's oil exploration ships would not enter disputed waters, and Greece offered to open negotiations. Now, yesterday, Greece warned Turkey not to send its exploration ship into the contested Aegean zone, and to make the point clear, Greece deployed warships in the area. Greek officials said there was reserved optimism about the dispute, saying they are not really ready for a declaration.
There is much more to come on Eyewitness News tonight. When we come back, we'll take you to Philadelphia, where a North Side community remains in shock after the discovery of a gruesome crime apparently committed by a neighbor.
And later on in this broadcast, we'll check in with the Mets. The world champs struggle today against the Montreal Expos. Scott Clark will have details. Stay with us.
I want the news as fast as it happens. So I listen to 1010 Wins 2, 3, 4 times a day.
I catch the news whenever I get the chance.
Morning Rush, it's a losing battle without 1010 Wins.
Because this world is fast-paced and continually changing, the News Watch never stops. Listen 2, 3, 4 times a day. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
How should a luxury car perform? With punch.
With pizzazz.
It should excite me.
It should soothe me.
It should glide. It should go.
It should stop.
And stop other people. Whether you choose the Continental, the Mark 7, or the Town Car, the answer is Lincoln. What a luxury car should be.
New Jersey, it's the place to be.
New Jersey is a sportsman's paradise. The Meadowlands is home to the Mets, Jets, and Giants, not to mention the Devils and great horse racing. You can ski the slopes of the Northwest, enjoy the water sports and the wildernesses of the South, or balloon above it all. For a sports lover, New Jersey is the place to be. This New Jersey moment is brought to you by Pathmark. Hold everything. Macy's has a sale for you. Bag 20 to 50% savings on store-wide selections. Plus a Macy's carry-all duffel bag. Just $5 with any purchase of $25 or more. Great values for everyone. It's 20 to 50% savings and this Macy's duffel bag. Just $5 with any purchase of $25 or more. At Macy's in New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, where Bamberger's is now Macy's.
We're Macy's, and we're a part of your life.
A Brooklyn man is charged with murder tonight after setting his apartment on fire and allegedly killing his girlfriend. 46-year-old Danny Smith was enraged because he believed he had contracted a venereal disease from his girlfriend. Dead in that fire is 28-year-old Elizabeth Corchado. She lived at 390 Gates Avenue. A 72-year-old woman who lived in the same building was seriously injured. John.
In Philadelphia right now, police are still searching for evidence in what they are calling a house of horrors. It was 3 days ago that authorities arrested 43-year-old Gary Heidnick after finding 3 women chained to his basement floor. They also found human body parts in his freezer. The North Philadelphia neighborhood is still reeling from this shocking story. And Eyewitness News reporter Larry Menti has neighborhood reaction.
Police continue to dig today for more victims of Gary Heidnick. When police burst into this home on Wednesday, they found 3 half-naked women chained to pipes in a dungeon-like cellar. They found severed limbs in the freezer. Police believe Heidnick kidnapped and repeatedly raped 6 women over a several-month period, eventually killing 2 of them. Later on Wednesday, police found 1 body in a remote section of New Jersey. They believe missing body parts of the second victim are buried in the yard. As they searched, a stunned neighborhood watched. It's been like this since Wednesday morning when police broke into the home of Gary Heidnick. Neighbors standing behind police barricades looking at the house in disbelief. Most of the people I spoke with were understandably shocked at the extent of the crimes going on inside that house. But most of the people I spoke with knew there was something wrong with that house and with the man who lived there.
I was scared. I always told my husband that house looked like a spooky house, you know. It was so scary, that house.
And my boys were over there a couple times, not inside, but, you know, looking around. And they said, Mommy, that guy's weird.
He seemed to like to beat up his occupants that lived there every once in a while, but...
How do you know that?
You could hear it. You know, it was usually in the summertime when you did hear it.
Any inclination living right next door that this was going on?
No, none whatsoever.
Doris Zabulka is Heidnick's next-door neighbor. She called police 5 weeks ago because she smelled the odor of what she described as a dead body from next door.
We called the police because I had thought he was dead over there. But when he opened the door, the smell that came out with him was so bad it burnt your eyes. And, I mean, it could choke you. It was terrible. And he says, oh, I burnt some meat.
Most of the neighbors I spoke with said that they've been fearful for the last couple of days, but today they've felt relief. relief that finally the evil has gone away. Reporting from North Philadelphia, Larry Menti, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
The suspect, Gary Heidnick, is charged with murder. He is being held without bond as the investigation continues. Rolinda.
In West Babylon, a 43-year-old man literally lost his marbles today, and because of it, he was charged with criminal mischief. You see, he had 1,000 marbles, to be exact, and one trusted high-powered slingshot. Police say John Baker stalked several neighborhoods in his 1980 van and used the slingshot attached to his wrist and the marbles to destroy more than 300 factory windows. But we're not talking about child's play here. The damage has been placed at some $100,000. The arrest followed a 2-month investigation of the activities of the Ronkonkoma resident. Police say he had been unemployed for more than 10 years now and had been extremely despondent. John.
When we come back, Dr. Bill Gooch with the weather forecast. How long will this weather last?
And we will tell you about the battle to win a $300,000 condo. Details next.
Get there any way you can. Get to your Mazda dealer's moving days. Get there for Mazda cash incentives that mean incredible savings on every 87 Mazda car in stock. Save on 323s, save on 626s, on RX-7s, and save hundreds more on Mazda B2000 trucks. But if you want to save big, get there now, because Mazda cash incentives absolutely end March 31st.
Get a great deal at your local Mazda dealer today.
No matter how careful you are, how safe, it all comes down to this. When you hit the brakes, they have to stop more than a ton of moving cars. So when your brakes need attention, put them in Midas's hands. Expert hands that don't miss a thing. That's why Midas can guarantee its brake shoes and pads for as long as you own your car. It may be the most important guarantee you'll ever get. Take it to Midas for America's fussiest brake job. Take it to someone you trust.
We want fish sticks that come out of a microwave crunchy, not soggy.
That's why we created new Gorton's microwave crunchy fish sticks and fillets.
But are they crunchy?
They're mild white fish with no preservatives.
But are they crunchy?
Packed in Gorton's advanced microwave containers.
But are they?
So they come out crunchy.
That's what we've been waiting for.
Trust Gorton's for fish the way you want it. New Gorton's microwave crunchy and regular crunchy. The same great fish cooked however you want.
When you want to know what America looks like, turn to Cutler. Cutler, clothes with imagination.
New Yorkers were out in big numbers today, taking advantage of the weather and a lot to do in the city. Thousands went to an antiques expo at the 3 glass-enclosed passenger terminals on the Hudson River. 25,000 collectors converged on the piers, with a similar number expected tomorrow. They're looking at the wares of 600 dealers from throughout the United States and Europe. The display covers 150,000 square feet of space. It opens again tomorrow at 11 in the morning. That's at Piers 88, 90, and 92, and that's from 48th to 55th Streets and the river. Admission, I should tell you, is $5. Also today, 6,000 of the more active ran in one of the first races of the spring season. The Perrier 10-kilometer race started in Central Park this morning, 11 o'clock. Parks Commissioner Henry Stern was there to signal the start of the race. And as happens with many races, New York runners finishing up at Central Park's Tavern on the Green.
That's right. We're going to start shedding all these sweaters and things, or we've already started, and trying to get out there and run a little bit before we put those shorts on.
Today it kind of turned out pretty nice after some early morning gloom. The sun kind of poked through, and tomorrow even nicer, I'm happy to say, and enjoy it, because then we're going to be reminded that winter wasn't so long ago. Some chilly air, unfortunately, heading our way again. Let's take a look at current conditions around the area, and we still linger in the upper 50s at this hour. Here in Midtown, 58 degrees after getting up into the 60s today. The humidity quite high. That'll be a factor tonight. And the winds fairly light out of the east-northeast. They're quite variable around the area. Temperatures this past hour, lots of 60s still. Some 50s, Long Island and the South Shore of Connecticut, where a bit of a sea breeze set in this afternoon. And the cold waters of the Atlantic and the Long Island Sound lend to that cooling condition. So as the air comes across those cold waters, it's chilled. and that keeps those areas closer to the coast a little bit cooler. It'll be the same tomorrow, even more enhanced tomorrow as we go to southeast winds during the afternoon. A mixture of clouds and clear sky around the region. We'll have a fair to partly cloudy night tonight. As the winds are light, humidity high, and the ground still rather wet from the overnight rains, some patchy fog could set in overnight, and it could become quite dense toward morning. So if you're going to early morning church services or you're just going to be out on the roads early, keep that in mind. Out to the west, clear to partly cloudy skies. A very nice day tomorrow, partly sunny day, southeast winds. Again, the temperatures will go above 60 everywhere except Long Island and southern Connecticut shores, where it'll kind of hang back in the 50s. By tomorrow night, clouds are on the increase. This is a storm out in the Midwest. We see it on radar, quite a bit of shower activity. And you saw those clouds down in the Gulf. There's a lot of moisture down there, too, ready to be pulled into this. Monday looks like a pretty rainy day as this thing comes through. And then behind that, it is really going to cool off quite a bit. High pressure over the southeastern states ridging up into our area gave us the decent day today, and will give us an even nicer one tomorrow with mild temperatures once again. The Midwestern low brings the rain on Monday, pulling moisture out of the Gulf and in through the Midwest with it. And then look at these temperatures late this afternoon in the upper Midwest on up into Canada. Another cold blast of Arctic air comes our way. By Tuesday into Wednesday, temperatures could be 10 or even more degrees below normal. In the forecast, enjoy the rest of the weekend. It'll be nice. Clear to partly cloudy skies and patchy fog setting in later tonight. Low around 44 in the city to the 30s in the suburbs. Tomorrow, partly sunny and very pleasant. High upper 50s to the mid-60s, a bit cooler, mid-50s or so, Long Island, South Connecticut shore. Increasing cloudiness tomorrow night, low temperatures about the same as where they will be tonight, not bad. And Monday, showers developing, quite breezy, a bit cooler, 48 to 55 for a high, and we chill off for Tuesday through Thursday. There you go.
Thank you, Dr. Gutch.
Scott Clark's up next with sports. Now, the Mets went into extra innings against the Expos, but the outcome, if you're a Mets fan, was not good.
And a winner is declared in the battle to win a $300,000 condo. We'll tell you who it is in just a moment.
Last year in the tri-state area, more Cadillacs were sold than Jaguars. More Cadillacs were sold than BMWs. Cadillacs even outsold Mercedes. In the tri-state area last year, almost as many Cadillacs were sold as Jaguars, BMWs, and Mercedes combined. Visit your Cadillac Tri-Statesman and see why our 87 models should do even better than our 86s.
New Jersey, it's the place to be. We got a whole lot more for you.
Who says a buck doesn't go far these days? It does at Pathmark. With dollar-day savings on all these great items. And with coupons from Sunday's paper, pick up a pound of Maxwell House coffee for only $1.49. And a half-gallon of Breyer's ice cream for only $1.89. At Pathmark, where you're the one who's number one 24 hours a day.
New Jersey, New Jersey. Place to be.
An evening in Marysville, Ohio is different.
Mother, it appears we have Prunella vulgaris.
Because Marysville is the home of Scott's Lawn Products.
We've never had Prunella vulgaris.
Well, we do now.
It's living here that inspired our toll-free number for lawn advice.
That's Marva neglecta.
Because our idea of fun may not be yours. When all there is to do is watch the grass grow, you really get to know grass.
Moo. Behold the Isuzu Pup, the lowest priced truck in America. About $6. Buy a pup now and you can get 3.9% financing or 500 pounds of bananas. Why, I saved enough money to buy this island and all the fish. Penumeli, Kiki Bobo.
Come in today for 3.9% financing or $500 rebate on Isuzu's Pup Truck, the lowest priced truck in America.
It's time for sports now. Here's Scott Clark.
Thank you, Rolanda. Syracuse has advanced to the NCAA championship game. You want these to be great, but it turned out to be kind of a boring affair. The Orange in Providence, the Orange coasted 77-63. Let's go to the first half. Syracuse gets pressure, breaks it. Derek Coleman jams it with authority there. Providence then later on the run. Billy Donovan to Carlton's screen. He drives and scores, but Syracuse countered by going inside again. Syracuse led 36-26 at halftime. That's Ronnie Cycli. Tempers flared in the second half on this play right here. Sherman Douglas and Delray Brooks, after physical play inside, start going at it in the lane. This is probably the most exciting part of the whole game, although you don't like to see this happen. It was kind of a boring game in the second half, and there's some other people going at it, but finally the tempers were cooled. No one was ejected. being the Final Four. In the end, the Orangemen were the victors. Off the steal, Greg Monroe feeds Sherman Douglas. The Orange go on to win it 77-63. Enough said there. So Syracuse will play the winner of the Indiana-UNLV game. That to take place on Monday night for the NCAA championship at the Superdome. Well, the Yankees lost to the Rangers today. The final was 5-4. The losing pitcher was Mike Armstrong. Joe Niekro, not a bad outing, though. He started. He had 5 innings work and allowed 1 earned run. Gary Ward had a homer. He was 2 for 4 today, and Mike Pagliarulo also 2 for 4. He had 2 ribbies. It was not a good day for Dwight Gooden and the Mets. It went 11 innings in West Palm Beach, but the Montreal Expos ended up beating the Mets. The final was 6-5. We start in the top of the first inning. Keith Hernandez up right after Tim Tuffle had homered for a 1-0 lead. Hernandez with a shot to left. Back goes Alonzo Powell, leaps and goes right over the wire and came up empty. It was 2-0 on back-to-back home runs. Bottom of the first, Dwight Gooden delivers to Andres Galarraga. Ball goes right through the legs of Howard Johnson and down the line. Galarraga would end up at second base on the error, and then the former Met Hubie Brooks delivers the single to left field. That brought Galarraga heading for home. Throw by McReynolds, not nearly in time. It was 2-1. A homer by Herm Winningham made it 2-2, and then in the third, Hubie Brooks again. This guy's really doing it to the Mets today. Another shot to left center, all the way to the wall. Mookie Wilson gives chase. Got it in, but not nearly in time. 3-2, the Expos had the lead. But in the fourth inning, the game was tied at 3 when Howard Johnson made good on that error earlier. A blast to right, no doubt about it. A 2-run homer made it 5-3 Mets. You think they're going to win? But the Expos even it in the 7th. Clint Hurdle can handle the pitch by Doug Sisk. Foley scores to make it 5-5, so we go to the bottom of the 11th. Roger McDowell pitching to Bill Moore. He hits a shot to third and watch the ball right through the legs of Howard Johnson once more. The winning run came home, and that was it. The Expos win it 6-5 in 11 innings. There was one wild lightweight bout this afternoon for the North American boxing title in Norfolk, Virginia. Pernell Whitaker bested Roger Mayweather in a unanimous decision, but it looked like it might be over early. In the first round, Whitaker with a right and a left, Mayweather down to the canvas, but he did continue. Now in the second round, watch the referee. I say again, watch the referee. Here comes the left hook, boom, right straight to the jaw of the rock jaw referee, but play continued, hardly phased. Now, while Whitaker kept dominating the 9th round, after Mayweather's short had come loose, Whitaker pulls him down some more. That draws the ire. Here we go. Later in the 9th round, trunks taped up, Mayweather connects solid shots to the head of Whitaker, then hits him while he's down. Hit him while down, but Pernell Whitaker goes on to win the fight, stunning Mayweather there in the 11th round and went the full distance. Went on to a unanimous decision, though, for the NABF lightweight title, Pernell Whitaker in one wild fight. In the world of golf, Mark O'Meara has a lead during the 3rd round of the Tournament Players Championship in Florida. O'Meara stands at 12 under par, last we heard, but there were some odd happenings on the course today. Some real odd happenings. Look at this. Now, if the course isn't tough enough, there's always the gators you have to look out for, right? It can tend to hurt your concentration, especially when you're hitting to an island green. Well, here's Sam Randolph. Appeared to be headed for the water on the tee shot, but watch where it goes. Anywhere else, he's in the drink, but the ball stays right on the path that leads away from the island. A little break right there. Now, one of the best putts of the day came from Bill Rogers. No luck here. Had it right on track. From the moment the ball left the putter, he put it in. Another man trying to get back into the thick of it, Bernard Longer, on the 14th hole. With a birdie spree, he stands at 4 under par. But alas, the alligators pop up again. Funny things can happen, like Rocco Mediete. On the 18th hole, his mediocre shot turned wild, hit the golf cart right back up into the crowd, and the moral of the story is keep your eye on the ball and the gator as well. I'm Scott Clark. That's it for sports.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, thank you very much, Scott. Well, finally tonight, how to make it big in real estate and yet be able to say it was all a game. Let's take you to a toy store.
And the winner will win a $300,000 condominium in Florida.
A successful game promotion with lots of free publicity. But for one of the players, it will be more than just a promotion stunt or game.
These players are playing the fantasy of a board game, but actually winning the reality of a real prize.
Yes, the condominium game that lets you pretend to come up with the cash to purchase your own condominium today lets you walk away with one. From 10,000 entries, 6 finalists were selected. At FAO Schwartz, the game is on. The tension is seen around the table, but it finally comes down to a roll of the dice.
1 or 2 down.
The winner, college professor David Bird of Florence, South Carolina.
There are a bunch of college students down in Florence, South Carolina that are going to have one hell of a spring break next year. They've all been pulling for it. Thank you.
Oh, yes, the condo. It's in this building in Miami. It's now his.
And you better believe that'll be a party.
You're not kidding. That's Eyewitness News for this hour. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rolanda Watts.
And I'm John Marler. We're back tonight at 11. We hope you'll be with us. Good night.
Qantas flies more people to Australia in the South Pacific than any other airline. So come with us to Australia for our lowest fare in 10 years. Just $896. Round.